welcome back to Blanche Case Fitness. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means? It's time for Perpetual Motion, the class where we never stop moving, and it's our last week of February, and it appears, at least in Colorado, February is going to be going out with a bang because we are expecting a massive snowstorm tomorrow. So, you know, it's honestly like I love it because it makes it a lot easier for us all to just stay indoors if we are able to do that. But yeah, February is getting a final big one in tomorrow, which is wild. It's one of the things I love about Colorado is like today has been, you know, mid-50s, quite comfy out, all things considered. Yeah, starting tomorrow, it's not supposed to be like that, but that's fine because I don't have to go anywhere. Hooray, hooray. Where'd I put my water? There it is. At least I brought it because, yeah, that, I almost forgot it. Love the hair color. Thank you. Yes, this is, God, how many months old now? November, December, January, February. It's almost 5 months old, this color, and it still looks real good, which is very impressive. But hi everybody. Welcome. We got a nice little party in the chat already, which is always good. Good to see everybody. I hope that your week is kicking off well. Mine's kicking off pretty well. It's one of those things where, you know, when you have a really like solid, massive therapy session and then the rest of the day you sort of like, I liken it to a cross between a hangover and like your psychological immune system reacting to like a vaccine. Yeah, that's sort of where I am right now. So if I'm a little like, ooh, out of it right now, that's the reason. But you know what? It's a pretty good reason. And everybody should go to therapy. I highly recommend therapy. It is a very important component of maintaining mental health, I think. And recognizing that in America, it is really hard to come by if you do not have a certain degree of financial stability, which is bullshitty, but you know, we won't go down that road today. Yes, just like a cyber virus vaccine, thank you. But we're here and it's Tuesday and we're gonna do class and that's gonna be good. Class always revitalizes me. Hanging out with you fine folks in the chat and getting a good workout in. So I'd say that's the way to go. Let me pull my water down. Yeah. Get over here. And for those of you who follow my Instagram stories and saw that beautiful new tarot deck that I unboxed yesterday, I did do my first draw with it this morning, just a single card draw, and it is so gorgeous. The artwork is just absolutely incredible. So anyone who is interested in tarot reading, yeah, the Cosmo Oracle Visions deck, I think that's the name of it. Yeah, I backed it on Kickstarter some number of months ago. Long enough ago that when I filled out the shipping information, I had put my old address in. But yeah, so definitely highly recommend. It's a beautiful, beautiful deck, and it came with a fantastic, like really in-depth book about all of the cards and interpretations and a few different types of readings and stuff like that. So yeah, very cool. Tarot is definitely something, you know, speaking of mental health and emotional wellness, like tarot is something that I've very much gotten into over the last year as a really wonderful sort of storytelling medium and medium to create meaning and allow me to sort of acknowledge and guide myself towards things that I don't necessarily want to think about. You know, when we're dealing with heavy shit or, you know, sad shit or just like a lot of stressful shit going on, it can be really easy for us to use the like, just shove it all over in a corner and don't look at it approach to not dealing with things very well. I have been particularly prone to that approach in my life, and you know, doing tarot readings has been a way for me to sort of guide myself through some of the harder things that I've been dealing with in a way that feels impactful and meaningful and safe, which is really nice. And that's important because, you know, all too often we approach our mental health the way we approach our physical health, as, you know, an enemy to be conquered, or a competitor to be beaten or won against. And, you know, that's not how anything in the incredible system that is us works. We are not at war with our bodies or our brains. We are trying to create connection and partnership with them. And so any tools that we can find to help deepen those relationships, I think, are very, very wonderful. I honestly, one of my best friends started reading tarot, and she asked me, she was just looking for someone to talk to about it, who she trusted. And she was like, do you know anything about it? I was like, I don't, but I would love to learn more. So please, you know, use me as your sounding board. And the more she talked about it, the more I was like, this feels like it would be an incredibly useful tool for me. And I was right. So yeah, something to think about. Another potential tool for our arsenal of things. But right now, we're not working at our brains, we're working at our bodies. Of course, we're working at the whole package because we are one connected system, but we are focusing on the physical components of that system, while remembering that the mental components play a large part in our ability to, you know, move. I had a nice pop in my shoulder there. Awesome. And that wasn't even the bad one. All right, my friends, let's do class. Hey, if you are new, welcome to Perpetual Motion, the class where we never stop moving. That is not a misnomer. Today's class, where usually when a workout timer would end, you would get to stand around, grab some water, and just sort of chill until the next thing began. In today's class, when a workout timer ends, we move into our active rest exercise, which is cross jacks. And so from the time that we begin the warm-up to the very end final timer of class, we do not stop moving. I also call this the half marathon of HIIT classes. So you need to make sure that you are prepared for that. You need to make sure that you are moderating your energy usage appropriately so that you can keep moving the whole time. You need to make sure that your water is within reach of a standing position, because cross jacks are a standing exercise. So if you're going to be cross-jacking the whole time when you're resting, you need to be able to just grab your water and awkwardly try and drink it while bouncing around, which is a skill. But if you've ever run a road race, you probably have that skill. So just things to keep in mind if this is your first time. Do not try and give me 110% or even 100%. Go for the bare minimum, starting on time, stopping on time, and doing the exercise correctly. That is our foundational triangle. And if you can get those three components, just focus on those three components, you will get more than enough workout today, and will hopefully actually want to come back and do this again sometime. So yes, those are the disclaimers. Now for the pre-class checklist. Everybody's got their water. Speaking of water, oh yeah, I like to take that pre-class sip just to see how dehydrated I am. I'm doing pretty well today. You got your comfy clothes on, whatever that means to you. You've got your mat or mat-sized space on the floor. And if you use a fitness wearable, we can turn those on right now to high-intensity interval training. Let them get started. And now I'd say, let us get started. Woo, woo, woo. All right. So we start with our warm-up. Same warm-up that we do in all of our classes, which is really nice because it makes it a lot easier to try out a new class. because you know what's going to happen at the beginning. Alrighty, so, let me find my app. There it is. Hey, and I've got the speaker on. All right, we're ready to go. I'm a little frazzled today, as you can imagine. So just have to like really clearly focus on check this thing off the list, check this thing off the list. It's very important. All righty, so, oh, I forgot that those were back there. You can tell I'm still moving into the space because there are still many random bags and boxes of things lying around the house. Those were supposed to go in a closet somewhere, and I didn't do that. But for now, they will live by the door while we lay on our backs, on our mats, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee, and when that timer goes off, we will begin with hip rocks and bridges. Hi-ya! All right, so we are officially moving for class, which means that for the next hour, we will not stop moving. So, remember that thing that I talked to you about managing your energy output? It starts here in the warm-up. And this is not just specific to this class, but to any time that you warm up for an activity. But most definitely any time that you warm up for one of my classes. So when we do the warm-up, we are not here to come bursting through the wall of movement like the Kool-Aid man and go, all right, it's time to just, crush that warm-up. I'm gonna bring my hips up as high as they can go, and I'm gonna do the tallest bridge that anyone's ever seen. No, no. So switch feet, my friends. So this is a warm-up, which means that essentially this is our boot up sequence for exercise, okay? So our goal right now is to turn on all of the systems that we need to be able to do the rest of class. So we're booting up everything that our body needs to be running in order to exercise. So that starts with making sure that our brain is going, oh, okay, it appears that we are about to be exercising, so I need to be ready to send the appropriate electrical signals through the nervous system to the muscle fibers to tell them to activate. And then we go down to our muscle fibers and they're going, ooh, all right, it appears that we are doing some exercise, so I need to activate the energy production systems. You know, I've got all of these stores of glycogen that I need to start breaking down into a usable fuel source so that I actually have the energy for this class. So that's another reason why we don't want to just burst straight out of the gate into class, because we have, you know, a lot of fuel sources for the energy that we need, but they're not in usable form. They're not just like floating free permanently throughout your body ready to be used. You have to actually activate those systems and get the fuel sources broken down into that usable form. So you really need you need to make sure that you are giving your body time to turn those systems on and to get them running and to build up a bit of a buffer in terms of available energy before you start really putting more effort into the activities and, you know, running through energy more quickly. So when we come to do the warm-up, there is a natural progression for all of these exercises that allows us to sort of naturally ramp up the amount of energy that we're using. You know, we're starting with pretty easy exercises in terms of energy output. It does not take that much energy or strength for me to be lifting this leg. As we go on, we'll add a little bit of additional movement in, which will start to ramp up the amount of energy expended, and then we end with our cardio section. But we want to move through all of those in sequence and not sort of try to jump to the end of the line, essentially. So when you come in to class and you are beginning your warm-up, you are really, yes, I'm just yawning all over the place. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so when you come into class and you begin doing the warm-up, I want you to always have that in mind. We're not doing this warm-up so that we can just, sprint right out of the starting line and be like, yeah, look at me go, I'm so fast. Because you know what happens when you do that, when you waste all of your energy at the very beginning of the race, well, then the race keeps going. And then you don't have any of that energy left to keep you moving through it, all right? So that's our goal. Our goal is keep moving the whole time. That is the stamina that we're really working on building today. Today is a super stamina focused class because this isn't a one and done thing. We're not doing sprints in the form of Tabata intervals. We are moving consistently, and we want to, bare minimum, get to a place where we can get through the entirety of class without stopping. That's the first official goal. Before we get to a place where we're like, all right, now I want to, see about really upping the energy, the strength, the power, the speed of some of these exercises. Before we even start thinking about that, we want to start with, okay, can I keep going for the entirety of class? No? Then that needs to be my first focus point. I talk about this a lot. We're not here in class to, jump immediately to the summit of the mountain. We are wanting to be safe and smart always about this type of class. We are using it as a tool to improve our health, to improve and maintain our health and our mobility. So we do not need to be sprinting up to the top of a 14er, all right? This is hopefully going to be a lifelong relationship between you and exercise, and you can take it slow. You do not need to rush anything, all right? You can absolutely take it slow. Make sure that you are ready for each new phase of your fitness journey. And recognizing too, because I feel like a lot of times fitness instructors and personal trainers get sort of trapped into a very late stage capitalism mentality where you just expect end over end growth all the time, consistently, forever. And that gets communicated to clients, We're like, oh, well, I should be able to up, the amount of weight that I'm lifting, month over month or year over year or something like that. And, that doesn't work for late stage capitalism, and it doesn't work for us either. We too are working with finite resources, and we do not want to overtax them. We do not want to be over here going, all right, I have to just blast through this sacred mountain and grab all of the resources in there and then push through and grab this other pocket. And we want to make sure that we are managing our internal resources and replenishing them so that we have what we need, okay? So something to keep in mind, because I worry about that a lot, because believe me, I have been in more than enough classes and worked with more than enough coaches and PE instructors to know that particular type of attitude runs pretty rampant in movement, in exercise, in fitness circles. You know, just this assumption that our goal should always be gotta improve those numbers. If you reach a point with your fitness where you're like, you know, I feel really good about where I am right now. I feel really good about my level of strength, my level of stamina, and honestly, I just want to be able to maintain that. Well, awesome, okay? Absolutely awesome. Then focus on that. Focus on maintaining your current level of fitness. That is a totally solid goal, and not enough people give themselves that opportunity because we get trapped into, you know, someone goes, okay, what are your goals? And you go, oh, crap, well, my goal needs to be improving something based on some arbitrary metric that I just made up. So yeah, I'm going to work on improving this arbitrary metric. And it's like, well, okay, you can, or your goal can be as simple as I'm feeling good where I am, or, you know, I have a major activity coming up soon and I don't want to be running the risk of overtraining. So I really just want to maintain my current levels of performance. And that is an awesome goal that more people should allow for themselves. Because again, if we're doing this as hopefully part of a lifelong relationship with fitness, with movement, then we want to make sure that we are not shaming ourselves or pushing ourselves to do something that we know is not safe or healthy for us, okay? And frequently, that's where people end up when they feel this pressure to always have to like improve specific numbers on a scale, specific numbers written on a dumbbell or a kettlebell. And it doesn't have to be that way, my friends. You know, you can just be here going, you know what I want to do? I just want to be able to maintain this level of movement, this level of fitness. This feels really good for my body, for my mental health, for the time that I have available in my life. I feel like I can commit to this and, you know, have it be a really positive force for good and not something that is stressing me out and causing more harm than it needs to. All right? So, yeah. So basically, make sure that you're checking in with yourself about what you want to achieve. And if what you want to achieve is, I want to maintain this level of fitness because I feel really good about it, then know that that is an awesome goal. And you should absolutely have that goal and work to achieve it. So, just good things to remind ourselves of, you know, as with, there's so many places where we put unnecessary pressure on ourselves, or we shame ourselves unnecessarily, you know, guilt trip ourselves, even with no one else around. And that's the thing. It's like, after a while, the asshole coach or the spin instructor who thinks he's a boot camp drill sergeant, like, after a while, they don't even have to do anything because we're doing it to ourselves. And that's really tragic. So, yeah, always see what you can do to practice being kinder to yourself. All right. Moving right along. Second to last bit of our warm-up. So we are in the cardio section, which is awesome. Remember though, that once we're done with the warm-up, you have to keep moving, okay? So don't feel like you need to really be pushing these cardio exercises to the limit. Even though we're at the end of the warm-up, we're still not ramped up to 100% yet, all right? This is the last piece of the puzzle falling into place. This is bringing our cardiovascular system online, ready to do its thing. So just remember that we are not here going, all right, I've hit the cardio section, and now it's time to really let loose. Nope. You want to be, using more energy now than you were at the beginning of the warm-up, but you do not need to be going for massive intensity. We're just getting everything booted up, and then when the timer ends, we will immediately get up and start doing our cross jacks, all right? So as soon as we hear that horn, I will show you what a cross jack is. Hey, so up, and it's basically a cousin of the jumping jack. So we jump our feet out and then bring them in, cross one foot in front of the other, then out, and then in, reverse which foot's in front. Same thing with the arms, out, in, one on top of the other, out, in, and we just keep doing that. Bare minimum, not a lot of intensity, some modifications that you can make. You can kick the feet forward while doing the arms, or you can just do a little side to side jog, but whatever you choose, make sure you are still moving. All right. And don't stop when I stop. I get to stop, I'm the teacher. I have additional energy requirements because I have to be able to talk this whole time. So don't stop when I stop. Oh, all right. So I think, man, Colorado does a number on my skin. I love the dryness here, but also it means that in the winter in particular, my skin's like, oh, you didn't need me like closed and keeping your blood on the inside, did you? No? Cool. Rip. So moisturizer. Fitness Friend says, make sure to moisturize, especially in the winter. Your skin will appreciate it. And drinking plenty of water too helps to hydrate it. All right. So we're gonna start with some Simon Says, which we haven't done in a while. I think we're gonna start with the ultra intensive one. So this is gonna be the one where not only am I telling you the exercises to do, not only am I telling you when to switch from exercise to exercise, but I am also going to be giving you the rhythm to do the exercises on. There's two of them. One is going to be a squat jump, so feet between shoulder and hip width apart, squat down, and jump, 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 making sure that every time you land, your knees are going straight over your feet, keeping those knees nice and safe. And then the other exercise is going to be toe squats. So feet hip width apart, keeping our backs straight up and down. And we start to squat down. When you can't go any farther, you just let your heels come off the ground naturally and then back up. So for this, we're going to do 5 squat jumps in a row, followed by 4 toe squats, all right? And I'm going to have the rhythm going, and I'm going to count you through them, all righty? So everybody is cross-jacking on your mats, and you don't get to stop and get prepped. So I'm going to count you in, and you keep cross-jacking until you have to start that first squat jump, and then you just need to get into it, all right? All right, so 5, 6, here we go. And jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and back, 2 jumps, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and back, 2 jumps, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and back, 2 jumps, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and back, 2 jumps. Last time, jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and up, 2 and down, 2 and back, 2 cross jacks. Yeah! So immediately back into those cross jacks, my friends. Don't forget to be drinking water, okay? I know it doesn't necessarily feel like a rest, but the cross jack is a rest. That is your time to drink water. That is your time to rehydrate. Particularly important every time we exercise, but especially in a class like this where you have to keep moving the whole time, all right? You're using up a lot of fluids and you need to replenish them, okay? All right, so now we are going to do a perpetual motion set. And where did my timer app go? There you are. All right, so we're going to do a perpetual motion set, 30-second work intervals, and we are going to go with just 2 exercises, okay? So we'll just be flipping back and forth between the 2 exercises. And first exercise is going to be bicycles, all right? So we start lying on our backs. We engage, contract the core muscles. So we lift our back and shoulders off the ground. One knee in towards the chest, the other leg extended but off the ground. Reach your opposite elbow to that knee and other side. And we just go back and forth and back and forth. Keep your hands in front of your head and not behind your head, because that gives us a tendency to try and pull forward using our head, which A, is not actually using the muscle group we're supposed to be working, and B, ends up messing up your neck, which is obviously not what we want. Then the other exercise is going to be push-ups. So again, as always, you can do wall push-ups. You can do incline push-ups off of a piece of furniture. You can do our nice traditional plank push-up You can do push-ups from the knees. You can do half plank, half wave, or full wave, whatever you want to do. The two non-negotiables, shoulders directly over wrists, keeping that nice plank form with your body. Even if you're going from your knees, you see how lengthened my entire trunk is, okay? And as we come down, keeping our elbows in right by the sides, not letting them fan out, so we really focus the work on the triceps, alrighty? So, those are our two exercises, and we have to start from cross jacks and then just get right down and to it. Bicycles first, then push-ups. So, the second that you hear the timer, we are moving from cross jacks down to bicycles, all right? And so we talked about starting on time, and what that means today is minimizing the amount of time that it takes you to transition from the exercise you are currently doing to the exercise that you need to start doing, okay? So there's going to be a lot of figuring out how to get from cross jacks to something else, alrighty? And you need to keep in mind too that some exercises have greater ranges of motion than others. So, you know, if I'm doing push-ups, there's a very limited number of places that I can be at any given point in the exercise. So when that horn goes off and I'm like, all right, it's time for me to transition to the next exercise, well, I don't need to put too much thought into where I'm going to end up. But if you have something like burpees or turtle stands, you could be anywhere from on your back with your hips up in the air to standing or jumping. And you need to know, okay, depending on where I am in the life cycle of this exercise, how do I get from where I am to where I want to get to? So obviously, by the time we're done with any given timer, you're an expert at this. But it is something that you need to keep an eye on in this class in particular. Anytime that we do perpetual motion sets, because they are not confined to this class for sure. So it's important information, and it's important to pay attention to no matter what class we're in. But it's particularly important today because you are never starting from a rest position. Even at the very beginning of a timer, you're still starting from another exercise, okay? Another thing to keep in mind, especially if you are paying closer attention to me at any given point for visual pointers on exercises, remember that my transition from exercise to exercise may not be the most efficient one, okay? Because I have an additional goal that I have to meet, which is keeping myself correctly oriented towards the camera. So if I'm doing something that looks a little more awkward and like there's some unnecessary movement involved in it, you're probably right, because I care about how I'm oriented in the room. You don't have to worry about that because you are not on the camera. So just keep in mind that I am not necessarily a good gauge to go off of for whether or not you can move from one exercise to the next efficiently, because I'm not always going to be particularly efficient at that. You know, last week I had a class where I noticed how uneven the ends of my pants are, or were. And now it's all I can see. All right. So you went immediately into those cross jacks. And I really do want you to practice bringing your heart rate down, bringing your breathing down. All right. Active is definitely an important word, but rest is also important. This is your rest. This is your opportunity to sort of chill out, do a repetitive motion that does not have to take a lot of your energy and a lot of your systems in order to accomplish, okay? So really, really put the rest in active rest, okay? That's the most relevant component. Obviously, you'll know how to be active. You're here. Woo! All right, my friends. Let's do another quick Ultra Simon Says. All right? So, same two exercises. The squat jumps and the toe squats. So you've already done this. You know how it works. You know how the rhythm goes. You are ready to really get at it, okay? So this is your second opportunity to work on this particular, these two exercises and this style of moving between them. So this is your opportunity to delve, to challenge a little bit more, all right? All right, so everybody on your mat and you're cross-jacking away and gonna get you going. 5, 6, and here we go. And jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and back, 2 jumps, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and back, 2 jumps, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and back, 2 jumps, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and back, 2 jumps. Last time, jump, and jump, and jump, and jump, and jump. Toe squats down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and up, 2, and down, 2, and back to cross jacks. Yeah! Nicely done! Yeah! Awesome. And hopefully that felt not necessarily easier, but like you were a little bit more in control, even though you didn't have a lot of control. But even just in really honing in on how best to transition from, all right, I'm jumping, and now I am really slowly and deliberately letting myself down towards the floor and up towards the floor. You know, that is something that obviously you get to improve on over the course of the exercise. So, huzzah! All right, we're gonna do another perpetual motion set. 30 seconds again. I'm liking that. This is as close to the tabata as we get in a perpetual motion class. And basically, we've just combined the work and rest interval into one long work interval. And I know you're thrilled. All right. So first exercise, we're gonna do high knee runs. So basically the same as Flaming Scarlets, except we're not holding our arms over our heads. So we're just back and forth, trying to bring those knees up above the crease in the hips, okay? If you're not able to make that, then the name of the game is lifting the knees as high as they can go, okay? As we get tired, we start to want to just like trot in place. That is not our goal, all right? So high knee runs is exercise number 1, and then exercise number 2 is going to be turtle stands. So rocking up and stand, and up and stand, all right? So those are our 2, high knee runs and turtle stands. Everybody ready? And let me get the timer going. So you're cross-jacking away. As soon as you hear that horn, you go immediately into those high knee runs, okay? Here we go. And so the big form note is obviously around lifting those knees up. Having your core engaged is going to help do that, okay? Especially your lower abdominals. They are participating in pulling those knees up as high as they can go, okay? So check in on your core, make sure it is engaged in the exercise, and then into our next one. Remember, you can use a hand to push up onto the feet, or let a knee come down, sort of push yourself up that way. I do really want you to try your best to work towards being able to just roll up onto the feet, because the momentum is such a huge part of any of the exercises in the turtle family. And when you use one of those modifications, you're basically stopping your momentum, and that is not our goal. Sometimes it can't be helped, and you know that I would rather that you're doing things correctly, but keep that in mind in order to really get the most out of the exercise that you can. You want to work towards really being able to just roll up onto the feet without pausing, all right? All right, you are almost halfway through, which is super exciting. We go back to our high knee runs, all right? So halfway through, you're maybe feeling a little more fatigue, and you're maybe feeling those knees trying to not lift up as high as they were before. So I want you to try and settle in and reconnect with the movement, with the form, and see how well you can bring those knees up. And the transition into the turtle stand is honestly quite fun. These are exercises that complement each other pretty well when it comes to doing them in tandem like this, because you know, if I'm down there rocking back onto my back and the horn goes off, all I have to do is complete the movement, and then I'm up standing and doing the high knee run. So I always really enjoy those moments where you can feel the connection from one exercise to the other, and it makes a lot of sense movement-wise. It's like, yeah, obviously my body would go from this exercise to this exercise. Like, that's just common sense. Those moments are always really fun and exciting. So, oh, all right. Feeling good, my friends? Feeling some good energy, heart rate going, breathing going. Almost done with this. And then, as soon as you hear that horn, we're doing our cross jacks. Yeah. I know that it may take a little extra time to scramble up from the floor. Remember, starting on time goes for cross jacks as well as everything else that we're doing. So try not to spend too much time in the getting yourself off the floor phase. All right. Woo! Water is a wonderful thing. Absolutely wonderful thing. All right. So next thing we are going to do, and it's going to be intense. All right. I'm not going to lie to you. We are going to set a 5-minute timer and we are going to do toe squats. Okay. So you know the form. We've already done toe squats. We are going to be doing them for the entire 5 minutes. If you need a break from the movement of toe squats, you can take that, but you have to do an active rest. So cross jacks or one of the modifications, and then be like, okay, going back into the toe squats, all right? So you do not get to take a full rest. If you are doing some active rests in there, make sure that you're doing the same number of reps before each rest, okay? So same as any other time that we would do toe squats, alrighty? So everybody on your mats, well, you're already there, you're cross-jacking away. You know the drill at this point. As soon as you hear that horn, yeah, and we begin. And remember, we are being deliberate about our energy consumption. So we do not have to be going super fast in these toe squats. We're not going for speed here. We are going to try and keep moving the whole time, all right? Keep that form, starting with the core engagement, making sure that our torsos are not trying to fall over every which way and sort of drag us along with them, okay? And so we start with that core engagement, and that helps to anchor us. And making sure, because this is a point of confusion frequently, we are not lifting our heels and then squatting down, okay? That is not the exercise we're doing. The focus is keeping your back as straight up and down as possible. That's what's really going to help. Because if I'm doing that, if I'm like, well, I want to squat down, but I want to keep my back straight up and down, I get to about here, and then I'm like, I can't really go anywhere. And that's where you basically have no choice if you want to keep moving, but to let the heels gently come off the ground. And then as we stand, same thing. I don't want you pushing the heels down, sort of ending up in a flat back, and then going, ha-ha, I'm here, all right? I want you to, again, keep that back straight up and down as much as possible, and you just find that immediately as you start to stand, your heels float back down to the floor, because of course they do, okay? So it's the most important thing to remember is that when we're doing toe squats, we are not actively manipulating our heels at all right? We are not here lifting and lowering them. They are lifting and lowering because they have nothing else that they can do if we want to finish the movement. That was the halfway horn, my friends, so don't change anything about what you're doing. Just know that half of the timer is gone and you have just under 2.5 minutes to go. All right? Remembering that you can take rests if you need them, but they have to be active rests. All right? So no standing around, no chilling. All right? If you're resting, you are still moving. And honestly, it's not a terrible idea to throw a couple of rests in there just to give yourself a different movement style to focus on. That can be really helpful. Variation is frequently a very useful tool for what we're doing. It keeps our brains better engaged in the activity, and it gives our bodies a new challenge to focus in on, so if they're struggling to keep their attention focused on correct form, then give them something new to think about and allow what they have been working on to move more into unconscious processing. And that can be really useful, okay? So totally valuable to have rests in here. You just need to make sure that you are moving the whole time, okay? That you are not coming to a stop, because as we've been saying all class, this is perpetual motion, my friends. So we do not stop moving until the very final horn has gone off. So, just under 20 seconds to go. So you are very close. Check in on that form. Make sure you are still in control of the movement of your bodies, of all the muscle groups working together, and back to cross jacks. All right. Good job, my friends. Whew. Boy, howdy. Are we having fun yet? I'm having fun. Okay. So, we are going to do one more perpetual motion set with our 30-second work intervals, and then we are going to finish out class with your favorite, my favorite, the thing that makes you complain more than almost anything else that I give you, which is wild to me, calf awareness. I really never thought of calf awareness as like one of the big boogeyman creatures of class, but boy, have I been proven wrong. But before we do that, we're doing our last perpetual motion set, 30-second work intervals, and our exercises are going to be, we're going to do boat rocks. So starting in this pike position, but then contracting those abdominal muscles so you get around in the lower back. And that's so I can rock back onto my back and then back up onto my tailbone. And I can do that over and over again, okay? But you have to make sure that your core is engaged and contracted to maintain that round. Because if you're in a flat back position, you just sort of end up here, and now I'm a bug on its back, and this is not ideal, okay? So, we do that, and then we're just going to do a nice, side-to-side plank. It's been a while. So, starting from a front plank position, shoulders directly over wrists. We let the heels fall to one side, come up onto one arm, other arm pushes up towards the ceiling. We hold for a second, let the judges see it, back down to the floor, and to the other side. And we just go back and forth, okay? So those are our exercises, boat rocks and side to side planks. So everybody is cross-tracking away. And as soon as you hear the horn, we'll have to do a quick transition down to the mat and rocking for boat rocks. Now, this is an exercise that it is very easy to do incorrectly, to not utilize the core. So I want you to be hyper-focused on your abdominals. Are they contracted? Are they still contracted? Are they still contracted? Because I spend a lot of time doing that exercise and going, man, I never feel anything when I do this. So that must mean that my core is just super strong already, you know, and that's why I don't feel this exercise. That was not the case. That was not actually what was going on. What was going on was that I was not activating the correct muscle group. I was just sort of bopping up and down. And so when I really checked in and was like, okay, there's got to be something that I'm missing in this exercise. And there was. It was the activation of my abdominals, i.e. the whole point of doing the exercise in the first place. So, you know, that's a little embarrassing feeling, but again, this is a marathon, not a sprint. This process of being active, of movement, of adding exercise as a tool in our toolbox. This is not something that any of us come in and are immediately perfect at. It takes a lifetime, okay? And so even when you've been doing, you know, classes for years, or, you know, personal weight training or dance or anything, you know, even when you have maintained a lot of fitness and activity, when you start a new type of movement, a new type of class, I want you to always approach it as if you are a complete beginner. Because one of the things that happens as we become more experienced over time is we start to assume that we have the answer to everything, and that, you know, we're doing an activity that we've never done before. We start to assume that we can cut to the front of the line in terms of learning, because, oh, we already obviously know what we're doing. And don't get me wrong, you will certainly have an easier time learning new exercises and new movement types when you've been active for a long time. But you are not an expert in everything. I am not an expert in everything. There is always more for us to learn. And what I really want you to always do is to focus on learning, okay? To focus on, okay, what can I gain here? What can I learn here? All right? Because there's always something. There is always more to learn. And isn't that so cool? Isn't that so exciting? You're all looking at me like, I mean, it would be if I wasn't still doing cross checks. Don't worry. Don't worry, my friends. Last, but certainly not least, is calf awareness. Whew, very aware of my abs right now. Is what I'm what I'm aware of. But why can't we be aware of multiple muscle groups, I say? Just be aware of every single one. And honestly, I am aware of most of them right now. All right. So, calf awareness. If you are new, this is a cool down segment. So it's going to be nice opportunity to really get your breathing down, heart rate down, getting grounded, getting centered. It's focused around balance, okay? So just keep that in mind. That's going to be a huge component of it. But no jumping around, nothing moving all over the place. So first thing I want you to do is when you hear that horn go off, I want you to just balance on one foot. Flat on that foot, and that's all. We start with just balancing on one foot. Alrighty? So, this is our opportunity to go goodbye cross jacks, because when this timer ends, we will officially be at the end of class, okay? So take a second to steady, ground, go, all right, feeling good, don't need to worry about that anymore. And now, what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna talk about form, because we love form. So for any of these balance positions, I want you to focus on only making micro adjustments to maintain the balance using your foot and using your ankle, okay? So no waving your other leg around or torso going hither, thither, and yon. Really just, all right, switch feet. If adjustments need to be made, they should be made using the foot and the ankle. So how do we do that? Well, we do that by engaging our stabilizing muscle groups. So we start with our core. Our core, our favorite stabilizing muscle group, brings our entire torso into line, so it's not leaning anywhere unexpected and carrying our center of gravity with it. All right, then we engage the glute on the working leg, which basically ties this entire piece together. Same when we engage the quads. So now basically everything from my knee up is one stable block. And so my ankle is like, oh, perfect. This is a lot easier to manage than a lot of disparate limbs going in unpredictable directions. Now when the timer goes off again, we will switch back to the first foot, but this time we will be balancing up on the ball of the foot, okay? So this is going to ramp up the intensity quite a lot. And we still have all of those focus points. We still want to be managing the balance using the foot and ankle. We still want to make sure that we're engaging all of those stabilizing muscle groups, but keeping in mind that this is much more intense. You may, more often than not, find yourself falling out of the position. So when that happens, not if, when. You can see it's happening to me a ton, all right? So I want you to know this is not just like you not knowing what's going on. This is a hard thing to maintain, especially if you are on a flexible surface and not a firm surface for the balance. So when you feel like you are about to fall out of your balance, all right, switch feet. What I want you to do is try very hard to not fall, okay? So instead of falling, bring your heel down really deliberately, reset, get back into the exercise, and see how long you can hold, okay? And so that way, you're still getting the work in on your calf, and you're not just wildly flailing around. Now, you'll notice that when I reset, I tend to move around on my mat, and that's because this mat is super flexible, so it really harms my ability to balance. So I just sort of move around and try and find flatter points on it. Now when the timer goes off again, back to that first foot, and we are going to be going back and forth between going up on the ball of the foot and then rocking back on the heel. All right, let me show you up here. So up on the ball, back on the heel, up on the ball, back on the heel, okay? You really, really need your core engaged for this, okay? Because now we're moving around, and we're moving basically from one kind of unstable, small surface to balance on to the other, all right? You know, and like the ball of the foot is tricky to balance on, but at least it's a little flat. The heel is rounded, so it's even harder to maintain that balance on your heel. So you really want that core engaged, those glutes, those quads engaged, so that, all right, switch sides, so that you can really focus on holding that balance and on guiding the movement, because now we're not just staying in place. We're going back and forth from one position to the other. So it is even more important now to make sure that we are not just letting our torsos sort of drag us all over the place, okay? Now, the last thing that we're gonna do when that last timer goes off, we're gonna put both feet on the floor. We are gonna rock back on both heels, and we are going to maintain that balance on the heels until the end of the timer, okay? So, rock back on the heels. If you need to shuffle around, that's fine. And then try and find a stable place and hold. When you can't hold it anymore, shuffle around. But do not let the toes down, okay? That's the one thing that we do not get to do until the end of this timer. So our shins are in on this party. We're breathing. We're trying to keep our core engaged, our glutes engaged, our quads engaged. We're trying to breathe, all right? Because we're still using muscles. They still need that oxygen. We're trying to hold that balance, find that centered, settled place. And now we're counting down. Fewer than 10 seconds remain, holding as best as we can, trying to hold that balance. And then letting those feet down. Yeah. Woo! Oh, good job, everybody. You are officially done with cross-checking and everything else. So let's just roll over the tops of the feet a little bit. Get a nice stretch coming up the top of the foot and into the shins, and just going back and forth. Okay, so I'm not putting like huge amounts of weight. I'm not leaning onto my toes. All of my standing weight is on this leg, but I can apply pressure as I feel comfortable to intensify the stretch, all right? Yeah, and let's do some quick calf stretches now that you are aware of your calves. So take one leg straight out behind you. The goal is to get that heel all the way down to the mat, okay? Which you may be able to do, no problem, or you may need to put a little bit of force against that wall to help gently drive that heel all the way down, and you're just feeling that real nice stretch in the calf. Oh yeah, definitely feeling it. And then switching sides, keeping in mind you may have to move around and adjust a little bit. That's fine, all right? You don't have to like hit the position and then, oh, I don't get to move for the rest of the time. That is not what we're here for, all righty? And remember to keep that back leg straight and keeping those hips facing forward towards the wall. Alrighty? And now let's just let our arms sort of shake out a little bit. Let's shake out the hands deliberately. There we are. Bring one arm up to the side and then across the body, holding it just above the elbow, really pulling it into the chest so you feel that stretch in the shoulder and coming down into the tricep. All right, yeah. This is a nice, easy stretch that most of us have done at some point. And then release the arms, let them swing back and forth a little bit, then other arm up and across. There we go. Just getting that stretch in. Feels a little more intense for me on this side, which makes sense to me because this is my weaker arm. So it's going, woo, we worked hard today. And you know what, arm? We did work hard today. Absolutely. All right. My friends, so aware of those calves. Oh, hi. Good job, everybody. What a great class. What an awesome class. I hope you had fun. I absolutely had fun. Yeah. Like I told you, this class does always, ground me. Absolutely. You are welcome. Thank you for coming to class. Yeah, this class is a great way to kick off our weeks. I mean, I know it's on Tuesday, but still, Monday I feel like everybody's like hyper focused on, I got to go back to work. And then Tuesday can be a day where like, this kind of now feels like I'm repeating the first day of the week feels. So I like to have this class here. Maybe at some point I will add a Monday class, though that point is not right now. But who knows? If we are able to build far enough, so many things are possible, my friends. But thank you for joining me tonight. This was definitely a good workout for me. I feel a lot more centered, a lot more grounded, and very excited to drink a lot of water after this, which I hope you are doing as well. All right? Finish off that water bottle if you haven't already, and then go refill it and finish it again. Because we are very bad at hydrating ourselves. And it is always helpful to have someone who just goes, hey, have you drunk water today? So we've got 3 more classes this week, which will also be the last 3 classes of February. Tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time is Jump Around, our weekly cardio class. Then Friday at 6 p.m. is Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects you can find around the house. And then Saturday morning at 9 a.m. is the weekend kickoff, which is our awesome strength and stamina focused body weight class. And one of my favorites. And that'll be a nice note to send us out of the month on. So yeah, so many of us are bad at hydration. It's a really weird thing that adult humans are just bad at this thing that's kind of critical for keeping us alive. So never hurts to have somebody just reminding you, you're going about your day, and then you see in your mind's eye me just pointing at you through the webcam, reminding you to drink some water. Or if you're on Instagram, I do have a remember to hydrate reminder saved in my stories now, or saved in my highlights. So, but yes, please do join for any or all of the remaining classes this week. They are all very fun times. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of those handles will be in my end cards, but they are all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel is where I upload all the VODs from these streams, so you never have to miss a class, even if you can't make the live cast. So definitely head over there and subscribe. If you want to help support me financially in making these streams, I do have a coffee account, Blanche Case Fitness, and your donations are always very much appreciated. And if you want to help keep growing this channel, getting us to that Twitch affiliate marker, we are just so close, then please do follow the channel. Tell your friends, loved ones, coworkers, anyone looking for an awesome class. I stream 4 days a week. We've got a lovely community. This is just such a great corner of the internet. And even if you're not able to work out that day, just come hang out and chat, because we have a lot of fun here, I think. So yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep building. 2021 has still got many, if not not all of the same issues as 2020, but I feel for myself a renewed energy in building and working to make the world a better place. And a lot of that is just being able to meet here with y'all and work out. It's definitely done wonders for all of my health, my physical health, my mental health, and everything. And I very much hope that it's doing the same for you, because that's my goal. That is always my goal. But for now, my goal is to go finish this water, get myself a little dinner, and then finish out the Expanse. So I hope that you have a similar plan, and I will see y'all back here tomorrow. Mwah. Have a great night.